Today we're going to be making a creamy peach tart. Now I am at the very end of my peach season. I actually don't have very many peaches left on the tree, but I did pick a couple of Alberta peaches and a couple of these beautiful white Hancock peaches. And so we're going to make a tart. Now this is a Trim Healthy Mama e-meal, so it is completely set up for our diet success, and I think it's time for a dessert. All right, we're gonna start by making our crust, and I'm gonna use my little KitchenAid mini food processor here. And what I'm gonna do is start off with a half of a cup of oat flour. I'm gonna put in an egg white. I'm gonna put in 1.5 teaspoons of I'm using monk fruit sweetener, but they call for gentle sweet, which is an artificial sweetener. That actually is 1 tablespoon. And then I'm going to be putting in some cinnamon. It calls for 1 teaspoon of cinnamon. Then we're going to put in a tablespoon of water. And we're going to put in 1 tablespoon of melted butter. And I'm just going to go ahead and give that a blend in my food processor. So you can see this is made kind of a thick paste. We're going to be adding a half a cup of coarsely ground oats. These are just plain rolled oats that I a little earlier put through that same food processor, but I didn't want them to process any more than that. So all I'm going to do is just mix this up a little bit, just to incorporate these oats and this thicker mixture together, and this is going to be our crust to our tart. We want to get it nice and crumbly. I'm going to start off using a spoon, but I'm going to switch to my hands just as soon as this is incorporated a little bit more. I just don't want it to stick any more than it has to. All right, so let me go ahead and use clean hands, and I'm just going to get this to a mixture. It's just going to be kind of crumbly. I just want to get all those oats in there. All right, now we're going to take our pie tin, and we're just going to put this right along the bottom of our pie tin. And this is going to form our crust. So you just want to give that a little stir. Make sure you don't have any just plain oats there. All right, we're just going to put this all on the bottom of the crust. And this is going to come out really, really good. This makes a wonderful crust. And just press, press, press. It's going to get a little bit easier to work with the more that you press it down in the pan. And if you're craving something sweet, if you've got, fruit trees in your backyard, or you can find anywhere where they've got some, ripe fruit, you're really going to enjoy this kind of stuff. Now, I'm used to making, peach cobblers and all kinds of things for the summer. So this is a little bit different summer for me. I'm, still trying to stay on my diet, and I've got about 30 pounds left to go. And so I just really want to be careful that I'm not, ruining my diet over, having a bunch of sweets. So that's about how your little tart bottom should look. I'm going to put this in a preheated oven at 350 degrees, and I'm just going to bake this for 10 minutes. All right, now we're going to start the filling. We're going to start off with 1 cup of unsweetened or unflavored, just plain Greek yogurt. I'm going to be adding 2 egg whites to that. I'm also going to be adding 3/4 of a cup of ricotta cheese. Now this is a half cup, so I'm going to do 1 of these and a half. And this is the fat-free ricotta. Now it didn't call for fat-free, but since this is an e-meal, I didn't think it would hurt. And then I'm going to put in 1 whole egg. Then I'm going to be putting in a half of a cup of gentle sweet. And like I said, I use monk fruit sweetener, so that's my sweetener of choice. That's what I'm going to be using today. I'm going to put in a teaspoon of vanilla. Actually, we're going to stop here and we're going to mix it, and then we're going to add the rest of our ingredients. Now we're going to add a tablespoon of baking blend. Now this is a keto baking blend that I buy online through Amazon, but Trim Healthy Mama has one. I've used this since I've started the plan. I don't use very much of it, just occasionally I'll use some. So I'm going to go ahead and put some of that in. I'm going to link this in the Amazon store. I've had several people ask me. I'll have a link below if you're interested in trying this baking blend. I think it works pretty good, and especially for these types of recipes. And then I'm just going to give it another quick stir. Okay, so I'm setting those two items aside, and the next thing I'm going to do is prepare my peaches. Now I'm going to wash these really quickly, and then I'm going to start preparing them to put on our pie. So I'm going to take my peaches and I'm just real quickly going to peel them. These Alberta peaches just peel so easily when they're ripe. Not even funny. They're just, I don't know, I've just never had such a good peach. I've got 3 peach trees and this is definitely my favorite. At least it's my favorite yellow peach. So I'm going to go ahead and just cut this in half. Take my pit out. And then all I'm going to do is slice these into really thin slices. And you want these as thin as you can get them. You want a nice thin peach. Now I'm going to go ahead and peel both of my Alberta peaches. These Hancock peaches, I'm not sure I'm going to need this many. These are the white peaches. I may go ahead and peel some. I'm not sure yet. I'm gonna see. They're pretty ripe. So I may do a mixture of white and yellow peaches. I'm not sure yet. I'm thinking that's what I might do. Okay, let's get this party started. I'm gonna move you over here because I am going to bring in my crust, and we're gonna get that all put together. All right, so we're just gonna add our filling right over the top of the crust. Just gonna pour that in. And then all we're gonna do is arrange our peaches into a little, kind of like a little circle. I'm gonna bring you in closer so you can see what I'm talking about. So all we're gonna do is arrange these thin peaches right on the top of our delicious tart mixture. Now there's no way I can tell you exactly how amazing these things smell. They smell amazing. So I'm going to go ahead and add some of the white. And this takes about 2 to 3 peaches to do this topping for our peach mixture. You're just going to keep layering them any way you like. So this was 3 peaches. And like I said, if you need more, put more in. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and peel this other white peach. I mean, my peaches are extremely ripe right now, but you know, if you could actually get them more like this one, it's ripe for sure, but it's not quite as ripe as the other ones. I think it's just easier to cut into these little slices, and it's just going to make for a little bit better presentation. Mine are all ripe. I can't, and I don't have that many left, honestly. I've made salsa, and I've canned peaches, and I've frozen peaches, and I'm about peached out. This is a little better, I think. So we're going to fill in every little spot that doesn't have a peach. with these white peaches. Looks good enough to eat. All right. So the last thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a little bit of lemon juice and I'm just going to brush it over the tops of the peaches. I just want to make sure that when these are all cooked that they're not going to turn brown. Now if you wanted to, you know, put them in the lemon juice before you put them on the tart, you could do that. Whatever works. When my lemon trees are completely ripe, I actually pick the lemons, I squeeze the juice, whatever I'm not using for that season, and I put them into ice cube trays, and I always have lemon juice throughout the year to do these types of projects. So I don't really ever have to buy it, unless I'm canning and it requires that I actually use like a bottled lemon juice, but for the most part, I always have these lemons on hand. All right, so the last thing we're gonna do, now this isn't called for in the recipe, but I'm just gonna take a couple pinches of monk fruit, put it right over the peaches, not much. I mean, we're talking a couple pinches, just hardly anything. Then we're gonna take a little bit of cinnamon and we're just gonna sprinkle this right over the top of our peaches. All right. I may do the lemon just a little bit more, just to kind of move some of that cinnamon around. All right, let's give this a bake. It says to bake it for 27 to 30 minutes. I've got my oven preheated at 350, and we'll come back and see how it looks after it's all set up and try our pie. So my peach tart is all done. It's completely cooked. It ended up taking about an extra 8 minutes, so I'd say it probably took about 35 minutes in my oven, but it came out perfect. Let's give it a try. Wow. That's really good. The peaches are so good on top. And the filling is delicious. The crust is very crunchy, very good. I'm gonna leave the recipe in the description below. So if you'd like to give this a try, it's very good. It's an e-meal, considered an e-meal on Trim Healthy Mama. So thanks for joining me today. If you are not a subscriber to my channel, please give me a like, a thumbs up, ring that bell for future notifications, and consider subscribing. I have lots more videos like this that may be of interest. Thanks a lot and have a great day. Bye-bye.